the higher the gain, the more it's going to pick up absolutely every noise in the room.
Right. Like me decanting this Pepsi.
Yeah. Decanting. I didn't realize you were such a...
So sophisticated, huh?
Yeah, such an aristocrat.
Hello, and welcome to Filling in the Gaps. Fuck's sake.
That's right, because I think you hit the table on that one anyway.
Buyer's Remorse.
Hello, and welcome to Buyer's Remorse. I'm Darren.
I'm Justin.
And on Buyer's Remorse, we pick a game in each other's library that's unplayed, and we make each other play it for 60 minutes. Hopefully, we pick something that's absolutely terrible for the other person and make them suffer for that 60 minutes. I hope I hit some gold today. What was it?
A lovely little adventure called Banana Hell.
Oh, thank you, Greg.
Yeah. So I did receive this game free. This was September of 2021. They were giving it away free probably for a week.
Right.
And I picked it up.
So did I. And then immediately texted you and said, Justin, put this on your Buyer's Remorse.
Yes. You did not want to get caught behind on this one, and I should have been more aware. It is developed and published by Petrahart. It was released back in November of 2020. It is $3 at base, but like I said, I got it for free. All the reviews, there's no kind of recent reviews. So 48 reviews and positive.
Oh dear, I could be out of luck this episode.
The description on the store page reads as follows. Jump your way to get the blue diamonds as you try to survive a very annoying banana monologue. A really hard game. Really hard in all caps. It's a pretty accurate description of this game. You're going to open up the menu and you'll see a banana with hairy arms and hairy legs. Humanish arms and legs.
So like the peanut butter jelly time banana.
I've not seen this thing yet, but...
What?
Yeah.
It's like 10 years old already. You've dodged a bullet, man.
I believe I've heard the song, but I've never seen the video.
Okay.
It's not really animated per se. It's a still image that's moving across as though it's swimming.
Okay.
You are going to play as Banana Johnson. And we're going to find out through one of his monologues that his middle name is Joe. Banana Joe Johnson. Some people call him Jojo for short, apparently. In the menu, you have a few different areas. You have the Forest of Frustration, the Purple Lion's Temple, and Void. Now, Void is completely locked. Forest of Frustration and Purple Lion's Temple each have two parts. The first one is open, the second one is locked. This game is basically, it's a really difficult platformer, and that's all it is.
Is it like getting over it with Ben Foddy? Kind of frustration level stuff?
I don't know, because I haven't played that one. I've seen the store trailer for that one. I don't think it's that level of frustration because it's not so much that the controls are frustration. They are a little bit, but I'll get into that when I really get into the game. It's more just a platformer where you don't have double jump, where the areas that you're jumping onto, it's a million tiny little platforms that you have to get onto. And it's very easy to be knocked off and have to start from the beginning again or start from very far before where you are, right? So it knocks you way back. That's the frustrating part.
Right.
The timing is also a little weird. I think it's consistent, but I think it's just a little bit hard to manage because there are often two enemies at a time with different distances they're traveling. So you have to wait for them to sync up or not sync up based on what you need at the time or what you think you need.
Okay.
There is a bit of an issue. I don't know if it's my controller or if it's the game, but sometimes when I would jump and land on platform, Banana Johnson would jump again. And that could be very detrimental to what I was trying to do because it could jump up and either hit another enemy, which would knock me way back, or it could push me over the edge and down to much further back. Very easy to be set back. In the entire hour that I played about 40 minutes on the first level, and then I tried to get 15 minutes of the other level. Then at the end realized I wasn't recording, so I'm going to have to play this again. At least I don't know, however long. I'm going to try and keep
However
this
long
episode very short.
Let's talk lots about the second level. So, Justin, what exactly happened in the second level? And
Tell me in great detail.
details, yes.
Yeah, the shorter I can make this, the less of that game I have to play again. It's just very, very frustrating.
Is it a vertical platform where you just keep going up and up and up, and then you get knocked off and you kind of go all the way back down like a pachinko ball?
Not like a pachinko ball, but imagine this. Okay. Your character is what appears to be a man in a banana suit.
Right.
Though, through his monologues, it makes it sound like he's not.
Okay.
We'll get into that later as well. The idea is you have to jump all the way to the top. There are a few things you can do. You can jump. You can climb up ropes.
Mm-hmm.
You can duck. Ducking is very, very useful.
Okay.
I used it a ton. But it's one of these maps where it's a ton of little platforms you have to jump on, and they will sometimes go across and sometimes more like a staircase.
Okay.
And sometimes up and down. And so you have to time against the enemies. Your enemies in this one are pretty much just two types of insect. You have a red, pinkish one that moves pretty quickly, and you have a yellow bee-like one that moves much slower.
Mm-hmm.
And again, so sometimes, even very early on, you have to deal with both of those at the same time, where you're having to guess what is the best timing jump based on where they are in their motion.
So they've got like a set flight path kind of thing.
Yes, they just fly. I don't think I ever saw anything other than them flying horizontally.
Okay.
So they're flying horizontally, but of course, right in the way of where you need to be.
Mm-hmm.
And if they touch you, you don't take any damage. You could fall as much as you want. You can get hit as much as you want. There are no lives involved, but it will knock you all the way back to the beginning. I finally reached, in the forest one, a sort of checkpoint. If you're looking at this, people watching the video are going to see it anyway. But for you, it is a forest, but it's really just one tree.
Okay.
The tree looks as though it's painted on canvas, and it looks really nice. All the tiny little platforms have vines hanging off of them. They actually look decent. You can tell they're all the same. Some are flipped.
Right, okay, yeah.
To make them look different.
Right.
But even that essentially gives you two different ones. But you're not really worried about how it looks. Overall, it looks pretty decent. The music is relaxing. It's what I would label non-obtrusive. You notice it at first, but then it just quickly becomes background. It's a good fit, actually, for what it is. It doesn't really fit the hell part of the title.
Right.
But they could have done a really bad job with the music and would have made it awful.
Just like grating your ears kind of thing.
It isn't that. The music is fine. So I'm going to take that out of the equation. That's fine. But all this jumping, it's just, one, I'm not good at this anyway. And you know this. Two, you have to be very precise. And a lot of times, like I said, there was a time where I would jump a second time and that caused all sorts of problems. If you're even a little bit off, that causes all sorts of problems. And then you're back to where you started.
Right.
So for the first half hour, I was probably just on the first little section.
Oh my God.
It's all vertical climbing, jumping, basically.
Right.
You're trying to get up. So then you do get to a checkpoint where there's another big branch. And that branch you can't fall below.
Okay. Gotcha.
So they've done a checkpoint without making it a checkpoint. They've just done it through the level design, which is quite good. But it just gets harder from there. At this point, because I made it to a checkpoint, and it's not a saved checkpoint, so you can't come back to the game later.
Oh, right, okay.
I was not going to leave this until I went. That's why I actually stayed with it for 45. My plan was to do 30 and 30.
Right.
But because I made it to that point...
How long did it take you to get to this point?
I think about 30 minutes.
Oh, okay.
So I was not about to give up. Maybe I can get it. Maybe I can get to the top.
Right.
But I made it at some point way up high and then got knocked down again. And that's when I went, okay, no, I'm going to go take a look at the other one. The other one, Purple Lion's Temple, I would say it feels a little bit easier.
Mm-hmm.
The look of it is, again, there's a hand-painted section as the background, and then all the little stone brick platforms that you're jumping up. It just feels like there's a little less intrusion, but some of the jumps themselves are much more tricky.
Right, okay.
Like there's one where you're a bit higher up and you have to jump down, but far enough to make sure you hit the platform you're trying to do. And you actually have to look and go, oh, where am I going? In the first one, the forest one, it's very obvious where you're supposed to go. In this one, you actually have to think a little bit about, oh, where am I going? But there were less insects, so it felt like I can handle this. And I was going to play a little bit longer. I played just about an hour. I was like, okay, maybe I'll give this a little bit more time. And then fell way to the beginning.
Man.
And said, okay, I've done my hour. I'm done. And I'm out.
Yeah, thanks for making up my mind, game.
Throughout the game, though, your banana character, you'll see his profile image at the bottom, along with some text. The text varies. Sometimes they are pithy sayings. What's the meaning of life, but don't say 42. There's some where it insults humans. Humans are weird. I mean, what are ears? I hate when humans slip on my clothes when I take them off at night. I'm a bit more in tune with that. If you're going to make your character banana, have it be a banana and say banana stuff. But some of the other stuff, it's like jokes I've already heard.
Okay.
It's always a love triangle if you love triangles.
Okay.
It's those kind of just stupid jokes. I've heard them before.
Dad jokes.
Yeah. And it just doesn't work for me.
Is he saying that as you're climbing the tree kind of thing?
So these text windows pop up and they type out, and there's always some sort of sound indicator as well.
Okay.
So it is a bit distracting. I think you can turn that sound down, and I would highly suggest to everyone to do so. But it's especially annoying to me because I seem incapable of ignoring the text. Even if I read it before, my eye is always drawn and I need to read it again. So on top of trying to do these really difficult timing jumps and avoiding the enemies, I still find myself looking down every time I hear that noise.
Right.
That is the hardest part of the game for me because it's so distracting. The game is designed to distract me. It also starts insulting you at times. Why don't you go watch some Rocky movies and come back motivated? My friend beat this game in 6 minutes. There are a number of those as well. Every time your character gets hit or falls, there's a little text window that pops up. Sometimes he swears. Sometimes he says no with lots of O's. There's one that says no, exclamation 1, exclamation, exclamation 1, as though somebody typed it out that way. Mildly amusing the first time. After about 40 minutes, it loses its humor. And that's kind of the game.
It sounds like good quality hour you spent there.
I'm not surprised that it's positively rated. I think that people who like this kind of game like this kind of game.
It's kind of a niche market, and people that buy this game know exactly what they're getting into.
The 48 people who have it, and probably some of them have received it for free, as did I.
Mm-hmm.
It's not overall a bad thing. It's just very bad for me.
So who would you say that this is for then? Like, what group of people would get a kick out of this game then?
Well, I'd recommend it to my friend Darren because he already put it in his library. I think this is for people who love precision platformers and sophomore humor mixed with dad jokes.
Mm-hmm. People do like these kinds of games. There's a ton of these games on mobile. I know people that play them. I don't buy games to be frustrated by them. Like, I buy them to relax or to have fun or to look at nice graphics or whatever.
I think it's missing something for me where there are just a few things that could have made it easier. The platforms could have been just slightly wider. They could have had slightly fewer annoying things in the way, or the huge setbacks could have been prevented through some level design. But that's not what the game is for. It's not for me. This is for people who like this incredibly frustrating, difficult thing. I think this is the type of game that would go well on somebody's stream, perhaps.
Are the jumps unfair, though? Did you feel like you were not landing, like the game was kind of screwing you over and making you miss the jumps and stuff? Other than the double jump at the end, but that was maybe just pressing the button twice, maybe triggered one jump and then a second jump, maybe?
I don't think I was, though, because it happened so many times. I think the game, for the most part, other than that, it felt pretty fair.
Okay.
Just incredibly difficult.
That might be why it's got a positive review, because maybe people do maybe cobble these kind of games together, because I don't think they'd be too hard. Maybe the programming element side to it isn't done well enough and the jumps are unfair, or...
It doesn't feel like that. I didn't feel in a constant state of, that jump is just unfair.
Mm-hmm.
It didn't really feel like the platforms were fake in any way. You sometimes get where they don't develop the space you can jump onto wide enough to fit everything that's on the screen that you can see. And that's where you really get the, oh, that's not fair. I landed and it still didn't register. Or you're walking to the edge to get as close as possible to make a jump and you just fall over.
Right.
I didn't see any of that in this game. There might have been a couple where it seemed that way, but the thing is, I made those jumps a number of times. So if it happened once, that feels like it's on me because I made that jump 20 other times. So I think it's pretty solid for what it is, but it doesn't always feel the best.
And so you played it for an hour. Are you going to go back and play level 2 again so we can talk more about level 2?
That's not the plan. I really don't.
So what was level 2 again? I've forgotten what you said.
Yeah, that's the purple one with the lions in the background that are painted. I don't know if they're
So is it like a hand-painted drawing then? Is it like a...
I don't know.
Is it like a kind of Nepenthe thing where it's like that kind of art on the background? Is that what you mean?
It's not like Nepenthe. It looks like it's on canvas.
Okay.
Nepenthe looks more like it's drawn with crayons, right? But this, it looks like it's painted on canvas. My guess would be that they made the asset somehow, or they made the painting and then added a filter to make it look like it's canvas. It is possible that they just got these backgrounds from an asset store somewhere. That's always possible as well.
Right.
I don't know for sure. Nepenthe feels like, no, this is very much, it's did that. This one, I'm not sure.
Right.
I haven't seen these assets elsewhere, but it doesn't mean that they aren't elsewhere.
So, not going back for another hour then?
That, I don't think so. That's not the plan, anyway.
What kind of tags would you assign to this gem of a game?
That is one thing I actually want to talk about, because I think we're both part of the point-and-click coalition on Steam.
Yep.
And one of the things that they try to do is flag games that are mislabeled as point-and-click. It seems like so many games out there are labeled point-and-click just because you use a mouse. And it has nothing to do with point-and-click as a genre.
Mm-hmm.
And this one as well, I looked at the tags because I thought, okay, let me see what they put as the tags. And many of them are fitting. 2D platformer, difficult. All of those I think are very fitting. And I'll use a couple of them for mine. But they also had strategy. What strategy?
Not dying.
This is not the kind of game you label as strategy. That's more RTS. The S stands for strategy.
Yeah, civilization. Yeah, this doesn't sound like a Civ game to me.
This is very much a platformer. The only strategy I could think is that I did try a couple times. So you could get lucky if you got hit by one of the insects and it knocked you forward. You could possibly land onto a platform. Luckily, I had a few lucky saves that way. And it did seem like there might be a couple ways where you could use that to your advantage to make a further jump and shortcut some stuff. I tried it. I couldn't make it work. Some people might be able to make it, but it still doesn't seem to fit strategy as a genre. I wouldn't label this as strategy. Psychological horror?
Yeah, maybe in your own mind.
Yeah, just because it's difficult? I don't think so. Just because my character is a banana? That's not enough to make me scared.
No.
I don't think that that's fitting. Philosophical?
This is these should be your tags. It's a strategy, philosophical, psychological horror.
It's none of those things. And I really think that we need to, as a community, start being better about the way we label our games.
Yeah.
It's a little bit different when we're uploading podcasts and when we're uploading the videos to YouTube because they don't have standard ones. So we just type in what we think will work as far as tags. But Steam has very definite tags that are standard.
Yeah.
I think that maybe there should be a definition base if there isn't to say this is what this game is. And we as a community maybe need to flag a few of these occasionally because if you flag a game enough, that tag gets removed.
Okay.
This is very good for getting rid of some very misleading tags, because I'm sure that we've all experienced this, where you're doing a search for a type of game and you get a bunch of games that do not fit.
What I always find amusing is like I'll be looking up, I don't know, like Poppy Playtime, and it'll be, you might like this because, and then it's got that little box at the bottom, games this is similar to, and it's like Assassin's Creed Origins. How did you come up with that connection?
And I'm worried that it's a bit of these tags.
It's probably got something to do with this, yeah. Because the Steam recommendations are absolutely terrible. They're terrible. But the Steam Labs is actually much better. But I think that's still being tested out and stuff. I use that from now on.
As far as tags I'd give it, they had 2D platformer as a tag. I wanted to use those as two separate ones, but I'll take it as one. I didn't realize that was one tag, and I think that that's great. And I think it's fine for them to have it labeled 2D and 2D platformer and platformer. I think that's totally fine, because people will put in those different search terms.
Yeah.
That's totally fine. Difficult, definitely. And in fact, difficult is a tag.
Mm-hmm.
I didn't realize that.
Because that goes all the way from this game right up to the games like Dark Souls and Sekiro.
Which is fine. I think that that's a very fitting tag. I'll leave that one. But I will say annoying.
Fair enough, yeah.
It's either that or frustrating, which I don't think is in there. But at the same time, annoying is right in the description. So it's fitting. I totally think that they have sold it at $3 is not ridiculous.
Mm-hmm.
I'm sure it goes on sale a lot. They have given you an exact description of what you're going to be doing. There's no bait and switch. They've presented it as it is. I respect that. But at the same time...
Buyer's confirmation or buyer's remorse, Justin?
I got it for free, but I was kind of miserable playing this game. It was a frustrating hour, seeing some of the dumb quotes come up more than once. It's bad enough the first time, and then you see it for the third time. Starting to groan. Yeah, I'm going to say that you got me on this one. This one, for me, that hour was a remorse.
Good.
Remorse.
One thing that maybe we can cut this in somewhere else, or just leave it on at the end. There's another game that I got, but I've already played it for an hour, and it's called, if you like this kind of game, it's called International Space Banana. And it's about a sentient actual banana. No arms, no legs. It's like somehow some scientist's consciousness has been zapped into a banana. He's in space, and everything is like zero gravity. And all you can do is press left or right and rotate your banana. And you have to bump into things, advance through up and down and left to right and through tunnels and hit buttons and kind of balance key cards on your banana shape and tip them into things. It's like getting over it with Ben Foddy, really. But it is so frustrating. But it's by a developer that I really like called Ben Lunato, who does a lot of like walking sims that are really crazy and great soundtracks. And then he came out with this and I was like, oh, I'm definitely buying this. And I bought it and it was fucking frustrating, man. It's horrible. So sorry, Ben. If this goes in, don't unfriend me on Steam. I love you.
30 minutes again. Why are mine? I can never get it short.